It may be a bit early to give out awards here on the Off the Crossbar podcast because it's not quite the end of the year, but we definitely have one already. The nominations for Prima Donna of the Year are in, and they are Elon Musk, Cristiano Ronaldo, Kanye West, Boris Johnson, and Aaron Rodgers. And the winner is, of course, Mr. Arrogant himself, Cristiano Ronaldo.
What? What on earth have you just started this with that?
Yes, I knew I'd catch you by surprise. I thought of it straight away last night after his outburst, how shall I call it, in that interview with Mr. Piers Morgan.
Sorry, I'm going to stop you instead. I don't know what I'm more offended by, the fact that out of all those names, Ronaldo is the winner. Or the other, which is the fact that I'm the one that gives the awards at Air Sunshine. So can you leave it to me, please?
You can carry on doing it for the rest of the year. However, I just wanted to do it for this week. Because, I mean, we can get onto the Ronaldo stuff in a bit, but let's start on a happier note before I get my anger.
You know, I thought it's been different to every other single podcast that people are going to listen to today. No, we're not talking about him. No, not doing it.
I mean, we kind of can't. It's impossible to avoid the subject, but
no, not doing it.
It's World Cup.
I'm going to do exactly what I do with every single Piers Morgan TV show. I'm just going to walk away. Yes. Ignore it.
Exactly. It's the best thing to do. But let's
talk about it right
now. Before we do, it is World Cup week. We are 6 days away from the first game. It's still weird as hell that we are halfway through November and the World Cup is starting this week.
I wish I had a sound effect for this. Is the sarcastic "Yay"? Because that's how I'm beginning to feel now about the tournament. Obviously, when it starts, we'll all be excited and hype. But for now, I can't feel anything more than that, even though I will watch as many guides as possible.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat. I think once the games start happening, I'll feel more excitement. But now I'm just like, you know what? I'm not in the mood for it. There's nothing going, you know what? I want to watch this World Cup at this minute in time.
The wall chart's not even up yet. That's how bad it is for me.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like a World Cup time.
Does not feel like 4:00 on Sunday, the greatest tournament ever, is going to begin.
No, you're just waiting for, like, I don't know. I feel like we're waiting for something to get that excitement there.
What we're waiting for is the reason to come out to show exactly why it should never have been hosted in Qatar in the first place.
I mean, we said this on Friday, and I believe last Monday as well. We spoke on many, many reasons why it shouldn't be. But yeah, it is getting
we'll probably do that again the next podcast.
Exactly. But yeah, World Cup kicking off this week. But let's talk about the Premier League, because once again, this weekend's fixtures didn't disappoint in terms of entertainment and goals up and down the division. And it all kicked off Saturday lunchtime. Brentford, and Ivan Toney especially, defeating Manchester City just a few hours, what it felt like, after being left out of the England squad. He scores a brace.
Yeah, we all know that the decision between either Ivan Toney or Callum Wilson was going to have mixed opinions, considering both would have absolutely deserved it. Or maybe the answer is actually that both of them should have won.
Yep.
Because if you can play to Ivan Toney's strengths, he's clearly a really good player and can never seem to miss from 12 yards.
Exactly. Like, he's got one of the best penalty records in Premier League history, if not the current best, because he obviously hasn't missed a penalty yet. Absolutely phenomenal, and he's the third top goal scorer already. Only Harry Kane and Erling Haaland are ahead of him.
And yet, we've all looked at Wilson's, I don't want to say couple games form, but it kind of has felt like that a little bit, whereas Toney has shown it throughout the whole season.
Yeah, it's been other players at Newcastle. Don't get me wrong, Callum Wilson hasn't been awful, and I'm not saying he didn't deserve to go, but I feel like Ivan Toney's more of a standout player in this squad at Brentford, and maybe that's why it seems like he deserved to go more. But yeah, absolute credit to Thomas Frank's side getting the result here. I mean, we spoke about it saying it could potentially be a close game, and we weren't expecting a walkabout for Manchester City. And obviously, the result didn't go Guardiola's way.
Has this myth about Man City being at home, yeah, they'll still be like full throttle attack against teams who are just willing to sit back and counter them. But every time, that sitting back and countering just seems to work completely against them.
Yeah.
You think they'd have cottoned on by now after how many years it's been happening?
It is just crazy that they just seemed willing to be allowing these teams to attack them when it shouldn't be happening. And like, as expected, they would have bulk of the possession in this game, as you would expect with the quality of players they've got. But then you look elsewhere and you're like, actually, Brentford deserved to win because they looked the more likely to get the win at times.
Yeah, well, you can have all the possession of the ball you want. If whoever's having the better chances clearly was the more deserving.
I always say whenever I'm watching football, possession is the most or one of the most pointless stats in football.
You can't say that when expected goals exist.
Well, yeah, that's also the most. I think that is the most pointless one. But I always say if you're watching it on TV, the thing in the top left-hand corner, that's the most important, and that is the full-time score.
The clock.
Because because you can have 99% possession, but if you lost 1-0, possession counts for fuck all if you don't get the 3 points at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, it's right. And Man City, while they will do okay with that, a lot of that at times looks it's going sideways. You just try to find a way to break a team down, which is like they can do all the training drills they want to combat that. It's on the pitch is where they need to be doing. I just wonder, they have to be seeing this back, but surely.
But another thing I've got to talk about is what is with Pep and his reluctance to make substitutions, because he only made the one, and it wasn't until the 86th minute when he took off João Cancelo and brought on Julian Alvarez. Why does this man never want to make substitutions? He's got the ability to make 5 substitutions in this game now. Why does he still not make them?
I don't know, it's confused. He wasn't spending all of last season moaning about the fact that he couldn't make 5 subs, was he?
He's like, what? You like
this is why I looked at that debate at the time going, no, you stupid idiot. You don't even make 3 subs now. Why would you want to... What are you questioning now? The fact you can't make 5?
Yeah, and now you're barely making fucking 1 a game. You're like, what? Just, he's so confusing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just because he feels like, well, if I stick with what I've got, we will get there eventually.
But sometimes that set of fresh legs can help you and can turn a game around.
Yeah, especially when you're consistently persisting with, no offense to Bernardo Silva, but I actually think he's a little bit limited.
And it wasn't really the best of games for Ilkay Gundogan either, I feel.
Yeah, I feel like if he's not on it, then they're definitely struggling.
Feels like a massive drop off in quality if both of them two aren't playing. Obviously, you'll still get stand-up players like De Bruyne and Phil Foden, who had a really good game, I feel, in that sense for City. But you look elsewhere and you're like, if everyone's not giving 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 performances, you can see the drop off in City, and you're like, this is where the changes need to be happening. Because if you've got mediocre gameplay, fresh pair of legs might change that, and you get the win, and rather than end up losing, or at least drawing.
And we can also say that of definitely now title rivals, because at least they're being pragmatic with their subs.
I mean, Arsenal 2-0 winners against Wolves. Martin Odegaard with a brace. I think you have to really say they are the title contenders.
Yeah, there's a calmness. And there's more calmness about them. From seasons past, they've finally rectified that issue that they were having, it seems. And all the signings they've made over the years have now fully established themselves. Odegaard is looking quality again.
Yeah.
Gabriel Jesus is missing a goal at the moment. Everything else he's doing pretty well with. Martinelli's looking at quality as well.
Yeah. But the only thing I will say...
Even Xhaka looks good, for God's sake.
Oh, yeah.
When he's not throwing up on the pitch, yeah.
He looks like a completely different man now.
Yeah. And I think for his sake, because of how good he's been, hopefully it's not as bad that he's fine for the World Cup next week.
He should be.
I guess he will be. Oh, he should be.
But the only thing I'm saying that could potentially hurt Arsenal, we've got, a 6-week break now, but they haven't had what I feel like is their usual big 2 or 3 players having an extended period of time out injured, which always seems to happen at Arsenal. They always seem to lose a couple of players for an extended period of time. And
maybe. Yeah. It's
going to be interesting to see post World Cup what they are like, whether they lose players at the World Cup due to injury. Obviously, no one will be hoping for that. But say if they were to lose Martin Odegaard, Gabriel Jesus, Martinelli, injury.
I'm pretty sure they'd only lose the 2. Odegaard not being there because of no Norway.
Yeah, obviously Norway not being at the World Cup. But say like the first couple of games back post World Cup, if he gets injured or the others that I've mentioned get injured, do Arsenal have the players that can step up and fill them boots in if they are, say, out for like 2 months or so?
Maybe I don't know. I don't know if they have it in quality, but they do at least have the depth, as we've seen. Reece Nelson could fill in all over that forward line pretty well.
Yeah,
they'll have Smith Rowe back at some point as well. You'd imagine.
And then Fabio Vieira can come in as well.
Yeah, he's looked all right. I think he's one that in years to come could be pretty good for them.
Yeah, so I think that's my only.
I think the question marks are actually defensively.
Yeah. You do look at that squad, and that is my only question mark at this minute in time is with this Arsenal squad is I don't think they've had a big injury yet. And obviously no team really has had a big injury to any player yet. But for me, it feels synonymous to Arsenal that they have big injuries come the latter part of the year, the calendar year, and into the start of the new year. And obviously, with the amount of games they're going to be playing in the early part of New Year and the back end of this year, it's going to be very interesting to see what effect that does if it does come and strike Arsenal.
Yeah, I guess so. It's a weird one. We don't know who. We don't know how anyone will be after this 6 weeks. It's weird, especially straight on, because a load of them probably won't even be risking the main players that have been at the World Cup.
Yeah, but I mean, let's spin this on a more positive note, because I feel like we're putting a bit of downer on Arsenal.
That's just Monday morning.
Top of the table come Christmas. 5 points clear at the top. Looking really solid under Mikel Arteta and getting the results they need to. Sometimes it may not be at times the prettiest football, but I mean, the last 3 games won all of them, winning against Forest, Chelsea and Wolves. And I feel like especially Chelsea and Wolves last season, they may have dropped points in those 2 games. So the fact that they're collecting the 3 points in both of them games shows that they actually are serious in terms of mounting a title challenge.
Yeah, mindset I think is a big thing with it as well. That appears to have changed. Yeah, it takes a couple of drawings on a whiteboard to get you into the right frame of mind. Then so be it.
Yes, the infamous whiteboard.
It works though.
Yeah, if it gets you the result.
It took 2 seasons, but it worked.
Yeah. The players finally understand what he's drawing after 6
We're
years.
all thinking, look at Arteta, what an idiot, but he's actually playing 4D chess.
Yes.
In 2 years, we'll be good.
We played a long game, you know. Let's look at the rest of the top 4 because Newcastle beating Chelsea 1-0. Great goal by Joe Willock.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Absolutely.
So you look what Arsenal could have had. Depth and quality.
But yeah, again, another solid performance for Eddie Howe side. It seems so weird saying Newcastle 3rd in the Premier League.
Yeah, well, of a certain generation that I guess is kind of normal after their 90s exploits.
Yeah, but for anyone born
for us of the Mike
the mid
Ashley era,
90s, yeah,
what are
it's
you
not
doing
normal. Yes. But I mean, there is more than half the season left to go, so things can change. But yeah, Eddie Howe in just under a year, I think he was appointed December last year.
Yeah, amazing.
What a phenomenal job he's done.
Yeah, just incredible. And to think that he's gotten that out of a squad that is still half full of players who couldn't have put in any sort of performance like that under Steve Bruce.
Yeah, it's light and day difference to the players and their willingness. I mean, it shows how good is the October awards were announced last week for Player and Manager of the Month. Newcastle took all of them: Player of the Month, Manager of the Month, and Goal of the Month as well.
But it's already started with Miguel Almiron because he didn't score, did he? Downward spiral.
But you still
he got the assist. No, you shut up. He didn't score.
Yeah, I was going to say he definitely was involved in the goal.
He got the assist, so at least he got me fantasy points still.
But yeah, on Chelsea hand, obviously Chelsea fans are disgruntled with how it's going so far this season under Potter. They're 8th in the league. But I'm saying this isn't his team, is it?
Like, look, did you see the starting 11 he put out?
Like,
no wonder they didn't win.
Yeah, when you've got Lewis Hall, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Conor Gallagher, and Armando Broja in your starting 11.
That's an unproven team.
Yeah, unproven Premier League quality. That is what you'd say is a cup team.
Like if they're playing someone like Chelsea, yes. Everyone else would go, that's probably your best starting 11, but to a Chelsea, that's FA Cup B team.
Yeah, and then you look at the substitutes bench. Dennis Zakaria, Jesus Christ, that man might as well go back home in January.
I can't wait. Is he going to? He's got to be going to the World Cup of Switzerland, doesn't he?
I mean,
I wouldn't say that.
I can't actually remember
making the point, but he's not playing.
Yeah, he is. He's in the World Cup.
Yeah, good. Like, I hope he plays a lot and shows that actually maybe he needs to be figuring into Chelsea's plans a hell of a lot more than he is.
But the fact that he's not even getting a game, and they had a midfield because they played a 3-4-2-1. They had Lewis Hall and left wing back, so in that sense, but I'd give him a pass. The fact he's not getting a game over Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Conor Gallagher at this minute in time is baffling.
Yeah, Gallagher's not been the same player that he was last season at Crystal Palace, but I feel like that's also to be expected as well because Palace is a main man, whereas Chelsea, you're not going to be that unless you take the ball and try and make things happen yourself. But I don't feel like he's been doing that.
No, he definitely hasn't. And
I don't know how he's been called up for England, if I'm being honest. Like, the more I see him, I'm like, sorry, you're going to the World Cup. I know we're very short on the midfield options.
But of all the options, you are our best so-called option.
But he'll be the main cover.
I don't expect him to.
Probably won't, actually. I don't expect him to play much.
If at all.
Maybe he plays against Wales if we somehow have 6 points. I laugh when I say that.
Oh, yeah, I am with you. I may not have been laughing because I'm checking social to see we haven't missed anything. But yeah, it's very worrying that he's been picked. But Chelsea, the board won't change Potter this early. They haven't even given him a transfer window to change anything. If we're, say, 12 months to 18 months down the line and things haven't improved, then I think maybe we could start questioning Potter's appointment. But the man's been in the job, 8 weeks? 6 to 8 weeks?
It feels around that time, yeah. No, I'm not certain, but you can see what they're trying to do. But there's some teams that clearly will catch them out because they're playing players who clearly are not used to it yet.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of time to get used to managerial changes and all that. Right, round off the top 4. Tottenham, what a crazy game they were involved with against Leeds. 4-3. Rodrigo Bentancur scoring 2 goals within 2 minutes. And Leeds finishing the game with 10 players after Tyler Adams picked up 2 yellow cards. This game had everything and then some.
Yeah, mental. Like Leeds yet again, almost like the Bielsa side in a way. Oh look, they're scoring all these goals, but they still can't defend for their lives.
Yeah, and they've so far this season scored 22, conceded 26.
It's not good enough. Like it's that the way everyone's being this season. It's that sort of form that puts you in a relegation battle.
And only 3 teams have conceded more than them: Forest and Southampton, who are both in the relegation zone, and Bournemouth. But that's because they shipped 9 against Liverpool at the start of the season.
It's weird. I thought you were going to say Villa then.
No, they've only conceded 22.
Hey, and it ain't going to be much more.
But yeah, Bentancur showing that maybe he needs to be playing a bit more.
Yeah, I find Conte's selections weird at times. Like you've got someone like Ipasu who maybe should be playing a bit more because he's on the bench a lot. You seem to have these issues at like wing back where, you know, if only they'd signed someone who had shown themselves to be pretty good at that role in the summer. Get the wanted posters out for Jed Spence. He's gone missing.
Gone missing? Jesus Christ! I think it'll be easier to fucking figure out the Fibonacci sequence and get see where Jed Spence is going to be playing next.
Like it's an odd one. They tried about Doherty out there, and he looks okay at times because that is also his role, and he's pretty good at that. And then they try Emerson Royale, who's just I despair.
Useless.
I would despair with him as a Tottenham fan.
Like, has Jed Spence even made an appearance for Spurs this season?
I don't recall him starting a game for them, but I believe he's come off the bench for 5 minutes.
I'm just having a look now on his stats. He's played 4 games for them. I don't know whether they're in the league or cup games. Yeah.
Maybe he started the cup midweek. I didn't notice, but yeah, like it's not all on one player. The whole selections are mental. And
and
I always wonder if persisting with Eric Dyer still would go to cost him.
It is a bit of a question mark over that. And whilst you're still going to get the goals from the likes of Kulusevski and Kane, and obviously Son when he's back fit for Spurs, it's going to be a different approach to it. But yeah, I feel like there is still like 1 or 2 changes Spurs need to make before I can say, you know what, these are a certified top 14.
Yeah, but it's the Conte style that it's not appeasing on the eye, is it?
No, never has been. That's never been his way of management.
No, I mean, I can't criticise that anymore. So,
But yeah, I think it's one where a few changes, maybe more signings, which even he's hinted at before.
But even that, like, how many more signings can they make after the amount of money they just spent in the summer?
I mean, they did spend quite a lot. I can't remember the exact amount they spent this past summer, but yeah,
I swear they went close to 200 mil.
Yeah, I don't know whether they went
something like that minimum.
Yeah, but there's still things that they need to like shore up and focus up, and then we can say, okay, this is going to be a team where you can see consistent results coming in and more consistent performances.
Like right now, they're so lucky to be in top 4 just because Chelsea aren't fully at the races and neither are Manchester United.
Well, they've played a game more than Manchester United, and yeah, they've played a game more than those 3 teams. And if United won it, then Spurs would only be on goal difference because the United's goal difference is level at 0, while Spurs have a +10. So that is really the only thing that is keeping them in the top 4 at the minute.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about Manchester United then? Are we there? Are you ready?
I mean, well, can we talk about the game at least before we get on to the other stuff?
Who gives a shit?
Well, we would have been talking about the
limelight after every other game. So what's the point?
Well, yeah, I mean,
but if you want to wax lyrical on Garnacho first before you go into the man he's replacing.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of United fans that will know he's coming through the academy will know how phenomenal he's been, and these type of performances aren't new to Manchester United. But it's finally great to see him getting these chances now, and what a week he's had in the cup. Obviously, knocking out your Aston Villa side.
It does not help when you're playing practically either against 10 men or you've got an extra player in our goalkeeper playing for you.
Yes. Well, yeah, it's good to see him getting some more first team minutes now. It may be off the bench and like start here and there, but yeah, he's so good, and
he's got something about him.
Oh yeah, the potential is like clearly there.
And he's not been called up to the World Cup squad, I believe, which is
no, he has missed out.
It is surprising and also not so surprising, I guess.
Yeah, I mean he's still really young. Like he's only 18, so it's not like this is going to be his last World Cup. He's got plenty more to go, as long as he keeps his career on the right track, and he's obviously injury free. But yeah, really good player. Very excited to see what the future holds for him, because obviously there's been a lot of talk in recent months of him opening new contract talks with United to extend his deal, and I think a lot of United fans will want him to be there for a very, very long time because he looks so good.
He looks like the person that you should be firmly establishing as the left winger.
Yeah.
Because you've been trying so many people out there. You've got Langer, you've even put Rashford out there and Martial, but no, it's got to be Garnacho, surely. So then you could put Rashford up front firmly in his best position, which benefits Manchester United the best.
Which we have been saying on here for a while now. Like I feel like we've been saying that for the last 2-3 weeks. But yeah, overall happy to see they managed to get the 3 points in the end. Christian Eriksen also scoring his first goal for Manchester United, which is always nice to see. I feel like it'd been a long time coming for him, putting really solid performances since his summer move, and finally get the goal. Very happy for him.
Yeah, and he's a better player when he's allowed to get forward as well.
Yeah, 100%. And he's another one going to the World Cup, obviously following on from what happened at the Euros last time out. It's just fantastic to see.
Yeah, it's so weird. Actually, we're talking about Manchester United. Guide before we get to the Ronaldo stuff. I'll just talk about the bit because I've just seen it on Twitter. Why is Sky so infatuated with speed?
I have no idea. They just seem to love the man. He's absolutely
so weird. I mean, it's proven that, like, I feel like anyone listening to this podcast somehow doesn't know. The guy is just a character. I don't think that's how he actually is. Like, it's just a comedy character.
I'm hoping so, because
I think it was proven that it was. I'd seen some.
I was going to say, because not there's anything wrong with being on, like having mental problems. Everyone does ADHD, but if that's he has an ADHD type character personality about him.
It's weird though, because he's probably the first YouTuber that everyone finds popular that I'm going, oh, am I showing my age now? Why does everyone like this guy? But the more stuff I see, I go, oh no, I get it. That's quite funny.
Yeah, he plays up to his character really, really well.
There was 3 things that I saw. The first one, Jeff Shreves.
Yeah.
I just sees the two, she just starts crawling up into a ball.
Yeah. I mean, earlier, before that, when he arrived at the ground, he was wearing a Fulham shirt.
A Fulham shirt.
Which I thought was brilliant.
Then he was in the Sky Studios.
Because you saw Dave Jones recording it. That was
pretty good, because they at least he got with the bit.
Yeah.
Did you see what he called Louis Saha?
No,
you didn't. Oh God, he called him Pogba.
Oh God. Yeah, but he's not as bad as earlier on the week when he fought Man United great Paddy Crerand and was David Beckham.
Oh, no. It's a bit in it. It has to be a bit.
Yeah.
But that wasn't even the best one this weekend. Because did you see the clip of him meeting Roy Hodgson
No, I don't think I did actually.
Well, it went about as well as you could have expected.
Yeah, I can already imagine.
Yeah. He called him Roy Costa.
Roy Costa, is he a Portuguese signing for bloody
Roy Hodgson almost definitely doesn't have a fucking clue who this guy is.
God, no.
No, it's just the whole thing was weird. It's probably a video that he's done for it. I haven't checked that out, but yeah. And I've just seen a clip of him now. He's on the classic football shirts thing with the guy from Away Days. And he's wearing a Burnley shirt.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Glory hunters, honestly. Burnley go top of the league and now he's all on the Burnley hype train.
Hang on, we'll get to the Championship a bit later. But yeah, let's talk about the big problem. The arrogance, the stupidity, the moronicness of Cristiano Ronaldo. So, 10 o'clock Sunday comes around, Piers Morgan tweets he's got a world exclusive with Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, when that man tweets, nobody listens genuinely because he's an arsehole.
I find that only Gary Lineker is listening.
Well, that's because he's also a giant arsehole at times.
Oh, no. Out of the two, you can't be saying Gary Lineker is the arsehole.
Oh, no. No. Gary Lineker has his own level of arsehole, which is tolerable, and I can stand him. Piers Morgan, whole different atmosphere of arsehole, knobheadery. There's too many words. We'd be bleeping out the whole episode for the rest of the time if I had the rest of my expletives.
Unfortunately, whoever edits this podcast can't be fucking arsed. So
yes. Anyway, so he comes out with an.
And I like my Monday afternoon, so you can piss off. Right?
Yes. So he comes out saying all this, like how he feels betrayed by the club and the stuff hasn't improved and everything. Everyone's putting the blame against him and this, that, and the other. I was like, quite timely. So Erik ten Hag has done his last press conference Saturday evening for 6 weeks, so he won't come out with anything.
Sunday evening.
Sunday evening. Sorry, not Saturday evening. Sunday evening. So he's not going to do any more press conferences now until whatever Carabao Cup game is, or whether he does any for the friendlies that we've got in December against Cadiz, and I can't remember the other Spanish team they're playing.
So all Spanish teams coming over to England for the pre-season.
Probably. Well, it's not pre-season.
It's Cadiz for you lot. Villarreal are coming for Villa.
I know United have got another Spanish team, but I can't remember who the hell it is now. But either way, it feels timed, this from Ronaldo.
Oh, yeah. Firstly, you have to get this off the bat. If you, in your mind, feel, right, I've got to get everything off my chest now. It's time. I need to say something. I've been quiet for too long. Dials the phone. Hello, Piers? Yes?
Of all the people you have an interview with, Piers Morgan is the one.
It's the Sun as well. The Sun. For God's sake. You're not winning any arguments. No one's backing you. Well, no sane person who is looking at the full perspective, I don't believe, is backing you. All the proper Ronaldo fans probably will be fully behind him.
Right.
And the odd thing is, when you look at the quotes, some of them, I guess I could sort of see where he's coming from, i.e. the direction of Manchester United. We all know the problem is the Glazers, and yeah, he's right that things probably have not changed since Ferguson left. Yeah.
That's been case in point, and all United fans know that, and the club has been in a downward spiral post-Ferguson. And the stuff at Carrington and possibly Old Trafford, when he's talking about facilities haven't been upgraded, we don't know that. There's probably about 100 people in the world that do know that, and that's the people that work in at Carrington, including players, on a day-in, day-out basis. So we don't know whether there's any truth in that, or whether there was a need for any change in that sense.
Yeah, it was funny what he was saying. Yeah, everything else is so old, but even the catering side. Not the people working there though; they're really nice.
And then just the things he's saying, like he's saying he has no respect for Erik ten Hag. Like, why? There's no need to come out with this.
Yeah, I'd like to think that surely they've had at least a conversation before they've come out with this, and Erik ten Hag hasn't just gone, nope, don't want him.
No, well, from what I'm reading this morning, apparently Ten Hag is furious, and he didn't expect any of this to come out.
Well, what do you expect?
Mm.
I'd be fuming.
Yeah,
I'd be breaking his dressing, his lone dressing room that he probably has right
now. And then
I'd be it's that video. It's the guy trying to get in the door. He taps the code in. I'd be doing that right now with Cristiano Ronaldo. Change the codes.
Yeah, just wouldn't absolutely. He just shouldn't be allowed anywhere near the club now. Like, you've disrespected the manager by leaving. Pre-season, leaving before the game was over, and then the other week against Tottenham, refusing to come on as a substitute. And then going down the tunnel and leaving the stadium as well.
Yeah, and of course the big massive sanction that they gave Cristiano Ronaldo for walking off before that Tottenham game was to make him captain against Aston Villa.
I mean, he had been fined a 2-week wages, but also.
But then you gave him the armband. Like, you can't be like, it's just stupid.
Also,
they're about to give him captain again come Boxing Day.
No, he's never playing for the club again.
Well, you'd think that, but they shouldn't have made him captain after the last incident.
Also, Ronaldo, who was it that was putting out the stories that you wanted to leave the club in the summer? I don't remember that coming from the United side.
Yeah, did he fully admit that it was his team that did that? You don't admit it.
Yep. His camp leaked the stories that he wanted to leave before the team, literally 48 hours before the team were due back for pre-season. He then spent the whole summer trying to find a new club. No one wanted him. Like, you're just getting no respect from anything what he said. Yes, the stuff about one of his child passing away before the birth, like that, I can say, take that away from the footballing aspect and everything else. That is, like, obviously commiserations to anyone that loses a child in that situation, or any child anyway. And obviously players and people should be given time off for grievance that they need, or work around their grievance. 100% agree on that sense.
Yeah. And in that sense, you should also be trying to communicate with the club. Sorry, I don't feel like you've helped me out. But yeah, don't go public with it. That just makes the situation 10 times worse.
Yeah, just go, literally knock on the gaffer's door. Gaffer, is it all right if I take some time off? Because mentally I'm not there, and I want to support my wife in this troubling time.
But we've all seen, you can tell the man's not engaged right now.
Yeah.
But the little thing works both ways. Because he's talking about things need to change at Manchester United, and if that means me as well, then fine. Like, well, thanks for admitting that, because you are the fucking problem. I've watched you on a football pitch just stand there, waiting forever, while my goalkeeper, Emi Martinez, has just stood there with the ball at his feet.
No, there's like a lot of time last season where he was getting called out for not dropping back, and that's one piece of credit where I have to give Ten Hag, is he hasn't been afraid to drop him.
Good. It's about time that Manchester United had a manager like that.
Yeah.
You need someone to grab it all by the horse and say, I'm implementing this vision. We're going to do it. It's going to take time. But this is how we get Manchester United back to some sort of quality level, consistently.
Yeah. It's my way or the highway. And if you don't like it, then fuck off.
Yeah. And unlike the others, this one actually has signs of it working.
Yeah. He's got players playing his way. He's getting the respect from the players.
Well, unless you Donny van de Beek, maybe. But
yeah, but again, he said for Donny van de Beek, there is a way of him getting in. He's just got to buckle up and get his ideas right.
I forgot he was playing in those 2 games against Villa, to be honest.
Yeah, I had as well. But for me, I don't want to rant on this Ronaldo stuff for too long, because I'll be out of breath for the rest of the week. But it's just so disrespectful.
Yeah, like the club has given him everything. He'll probably say it's Ferguson. Like his anger's not at Ferguson.
No, he even said it like it's not down to Sir Alex. Like he even said it in the interview as well, and that he has so much.
He pretty much admitted the only reason he signed for Manchester United was because of Ferguson.
Yeah, which we all knew anyway.
Yeah, like, why bother then?
Just stay in Italy.
Is his whole football career just judged by the fact that he does whatever Sir Alex Ferguson wants him to do?
Well, yeah, it seems to be the way. But I mean,
you can respect the guy, but he doesn't. You don't need him to make your decisions for you.
But I feel like there was even talk when he, in his latter time at Juventus, and even like the first season he came back to United, there was rumours and stories from like Gigi Buffon talking about like how he seems to be like more of a troublemaker than a.
You see him on the pitch right now. He wants a team that plays to his style.
Yeah,
his style is so anti, like modern day football right now. That of course he's completely gone off track.
Yeah, and that's why I think it could be a problem for Portugal come the World Cup, because if they're trying to play to his legacy, they ain't going to win the tournament or go really far. So
unless you're down Dublin, of course.
Yeah. But for me,
I can't remember. So this man was on the BBC and he said this thing.
Yeah.
Oh God, the whole prediction was mental.
Yeah, but final thing, Ronaldo. I think Ben Foster said it perfectly this morning. It's the final nail in his coffin at United, and
You would think
there'll be diehard Ronaldo and Man United fans that are like, oh, his legacy is great and everything he did during his spell was fantastic, but he has tarnished it now. Like, no respectable football fan, Man United fan,
unless you now
say,
"Oh, show speed," but okay.
Yeah, I said respectable.
Hey, listen, I'm sure he's a lovely man.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just everything there he's ruined for no reason. He could have just stayed quiet and then asked to leave in January or be released from his contract if he didn't want to stay at the club. Do it in a respectable manner. But that interview lost all respect for me. And
somebody's not being invited back to the Man United Legends game.
And we did out last night. You may have seen it. Respect is given to those that deserve it, not to those that want it.
But do you think you're philosophical now all of a sudden?
Not philosophical, it's the truth.
Fucking Aristotle over here.
Right, anyway, let's finish off with a quick rundown of the rest of the Premier League's action this past weekend. So the other game yesterday saw your Aston Villa come back from 1-0 down to beat Brighton and Hove Albion 2-1 with a Danny Ings brace.
Yeah, I don't know how, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
If
I was very surprised.
If this is the sign of what's to come, Unai Emery's shithouse villains, then strap me in. I'm all for it.
But also keep an eye on your heart, because your heart rate won't be able to take it.
Oh no, Joe, this is the first time I think I looked at that first Brighton goal and went, yeah, that happened. Not surprised that happened, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's you calling at me in the messenger. Like, you still think Douglas Luiz should be called up to the World Cup, should you? And then go and look at that second goal. Douglas Luiz is amazing. Sorry, what's Fred doing right now?
No, I actually have no idea.
Exactly. Call at me in the messages. You best not miss.
Right, anyway, Leicester managed to beat West Ham United 2-0 with Harvey Barnes and James Maddison scoring. Potential worrying times for West Ham. I asked you this Saturday, and I was like, is it because their focus seems to be on the Europa Conference League now, or is Moyes running out of time?
I always hate doing this, but you could always compare him to Gareth Southgate in this case. But he's got the ammunition in the locker to say, nope, I've done all this, you can't just get rid of me. But if this carries on into next year, then yeah, questions will start coming.
Yeah, I mean, that's
a quality squad that he's got.
Yeah, 3 league games in a row now without winning, only scoring once, and that was the other week against Crystal Palace in a 2-1 defeat. It is a bit worrying. Like, yes, there's the finished top of their group, the perfect record in the Europa Conference League, but league form now, 1 point outside the relegation zone. It's not looking good times in the league, at least for West Ham, and you're going to be hoping that a turnaround post-Christmas is coming.
No, it's very alarming, really. And I also looked at their depth almost as well. I don't think it's strong enough. They can afford to play the fringe players in the Conference League because the quality of the Conference League is pathetic.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they get away with it in that. But it just sort of off. Not happening. Is it?
Yeah. Forest managed to beat Crystal Palace 1. Morgan Gibbs-White scoring the sole goal in that one. Liverpool beat Nathan Jones' Southampton 3-1. Darwin Nunez scoring 2 goals in that game.
Nunez over Haaland. He scored more goals than him in the last couple of weeks. So,
Yes.
And Captain Nunez in fantasy team. Okay.
And a bad week for Everton got even worse when they shipped 3 goals to Bournemouth this past weekend. Lampard, surely it is time.
It's the old saying: you lose the away fans, you're finished. But I don't think it's Lampard who took the abuse. It was definitely the players in this case. Because
100%.
I saw the
players in this one.
They've gone through 6 managers, and they're still pretty much in a similar position from then. Ancelotti was the difference out of those guys. But the rest of it, pathetic.
And you look at this squad now, though, and it's just bank average players.
Yeah. The odd exceptions. Onana is definitely one.
Name another, though. Other than
Anthony Gordon, when he's on it, looks like he's got something. But Anthony Gordon, I'll get Jack Grealish vibes off him. Like, you've got quality. You should be doing this, but you're clearly a bit of an arsehole.
Yeah, he thinks he's better than he actually is.
Like,
but for me, I look at this Everton squad and I'm like, should they actually be higher where they are? You're like,
I don't think they improved
Premier League manager.
Yeah, they didn't improve massively, and Onana was the only real massive signing they made.
And then
the Strode Force is the same other than Mopay. I think he never lit it up for Brighton.
No. I mean, how long? I feel like he had a 10 to 12 game streak when he was at Brighton where he just didn't score.
I don't think Neil Mopay has been the same striker that he was in the Championship.
No. For me, I'm looking at this Everton squad and I'm going, you know what? You lot actually could get relegated and it wouldn't surprise me.
Definitely the way everything is, they're just not consistent now.
No.
The only places they will pick up a win is the home games. That's where it's going to be crucial for them.
I mean, but worrying times for them. And we don't know what's going to happen in 6 weeks' time, but their first fixture back in the Premier League on Boxing Day is against Julian Lopetegui's Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Yeah, very intrigued for that one.
It really is. I know we're not even at the halfway point of the season, but that really is a relegation.
Because I look at that one and I go, that actually Wolves probably maybe in the better position.
Right, let's have a look at the European leagues now. And Bundesliga, once again, did not disappoint.
Disappoint, but order has been restored and now it's boring again.
Yes. I mean...
What the hell's going on with him?
I have no idea. I mean...
You can't be top of the league and then concede 3 goals in the space of 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was literally... We was praising them 2 weeks ago.
That's what it was. We started praising them.
Yeah, and then back to back.
Direct your abuse to @Regal Walsh.
And the fact that Vincenzo Grifo scored a 20-minute hat-trick.
Yeah, Freiburg aren't too bad either themselves. I think that should be said.
Yeah, I mean, they are second in the league now themselves. No praise coming because we don't want them to curse another fucking team.
You suck, Freiburg. You absolutely suck.
But yeah, very strange couple of weeks for them. Dortmund losing to Mönchengladbach on Friday, 4-2. Dortmund, they're just weirdly inconsistent.
Yeah, and that's been the story of their whole aura of a club, really. Since they last won the league, this is what Dortmund are.
Yeah. I mean, looking at their record now, won 8, drawn 1, lost 6. And you're just like, for a team of that supposed quality, and arguably, I'd say the second biggest financially in the Bundesliga, they're sixth in the league.
Biggest, you could argue.
Yeah.
I don't know about financially. I don't know how that works, but because the way the German system is.
Yeah, the 50+1 system in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, unless you're Leipzig.
Yes, but yeah, they're just really inconsistent, and it's going to be I know it's unlikely if they lose Jude Bellingham come January, but come the summer, it wouldn't surprise me if Bellingham leaves.
He's gone. I think even if they end up winning the league, he's gone. They can win the Champions League and he's gone. They're going to get their 100+ million for him, and they're going to put that into the rest of the team. Which, if you don't improve after that, then I don't know what to say. It is.
Yeah,
you've got an issue there.
I mean, it's also the fact that they have changed managers quite a lot in the last 2-3 years. I mean, this is.
And how many of them actually been quality?
No. I mean,
you could argue this is the last quality manager.
Yeah, Edin Terzic is on his second spell now. This is his, I think, first permanent, because he did do a caretaker spell. But yeah, it's really strange. Like their consistency is inconsistency.
I swear they've had a new manager every season.
It feels like it.
I remember Lucien Favre and Marco Rose was last season.
Mm-hmm. And now Edin Terzic this season.
Yeah, it's not been great. Actually, no, Lucien Favre was multiple seasons. I've just thought.
Was he?
I believe he was, actually, yeah.
I thought he was like he came into the end of one season and then started the other.
Yeah, did a full season and then maybe, I don't know. Who cares?
Yep. Bayern Munich continued their winning ways, winning 2-0 against Schalke. Jamal Musiala providing both assists, and Eric Choupo-Moting again.
He's really sure you don't want this guy in January.
I'm positive. No offense to him, but I don't feel like he would work in United's attack. But yeah, absolutely fantastic this season. Also, 6 goals in the league.
We need to start criticising Southgate for the fact that he just didn't even try to convince Jamal Musiala to stay English.
I know, what a player he is.
He's quality.
It pains me that he didn't stay. Like, could you imagine him and Bellingham in midfield this?
Oh my God. I mean, yeah.
Oh, that would have been so good to see.
But he wouldn't have played if he's too quality.
Yeah. Let's be realistic here. But yes, let's quick look into the other European leagues.
Musiala in that squad instead of Gallagher. It's just that's it.
So much better.
So annoying. But we should find another one, hopefully.
Yes.
And he will be great for Germany, I feel. I feel like he will be one to watch at this World Cup massively. This is where he fully develops now. Yeah. If Germany are to have another strong World Cup that they always seem to, somehow. Except for the last one.
Yeah, I do think Musiala will be really key to this Germany side this season, or this year.
He should be their next superstar. Even though he's technically English, lads, but okay.
Into Ligue 1 now, and PSG won 5-0 against Angers. Again, comfortable win for PSG.
Yeah, the players again on form just before the big tournament.
Yeah, as expected. Marseille versus Monaco was goals galore, and Saïd Kolasinac actually turned out to be the hero this time for Marseille. 98th minute winner.
Yeah. And all was funny as well, the bit that got me from the bit clip that I saw of that winner was commentators going, Dimitri Payet is on his free kick. Yeah, I think he'll shoot it. What? He's on the fucking edge of the shooting from there.
Yeah. Great game that was, and I think the rest of the league may be a bit wary of them. I mean, they're in 4th place now and 6 points behind Lens, who are in 2nd, which I think is the surprise of the season. I don't think anyone had
took Lens care in League One. You'd be looking at like, sorry, what? Who are they?
Yeah. But again, winning this past weekend, beating Clermont 2-1 on Saturday. It's weird seeing like them and Rennes in 2nd and 3rd, and then you look at where Lille and Lyon are. They're 7th and 8th.
A lot of Stade Rennes have actually slowly been climbing up the table. Anyway, they've been getting into Europe the last few seasons, so yeah, they're maybe not as surprising.
For me, their standout player, Benjamin Borigo, 28-year-old, and he's absolutely fantastic. Like he was so good in the 2nd division, and he looks so good now in that squad. Was there any Italian league action this weekend? Yes, there was.
I've no idea, but I carry on because I'm going to find something that I remember seeing.
Because Juventus beat Lazio 3-0 with Moise Kean scoring a brace and Arkadiusz Milik scoring the other goal there. AC Milan managed to beat Fiorentina 2-1 with an own goal from Nikola Milenkovic in the 91st minute to give AC Milan the victory there. Roma and Torino finished in a 1-1 draw. Nemanja Matic rescuing a point for Jose Mourinho's side, who Jose Mourinho being Jose Mourinho got sent off in that game.
Yeah. And it wasn't the only thing he did this weekend, or in the last week as well. Someone was very vocal about Tammy Abraham's absence from the England team.
Yeah. And also him dropping, is it Rick Karsdorp? Is that player?
I don't know. But although I'm pretty sure he did actually take Tammy Abraham off in this game recently as well. So yeah, maybe that does actually answer the Tammy Abraham's form.
I mean, he went off in the 70th minute and was replaced by Andrea Bellotti. But yes, Rick Karsdorp, from what I read, his time at Roma seems to be all done and dusted. Like he will never play for him again. From pre-match quotes and post-match quotes he was given this past weekend. Inter Milan managed to beat Atalanta 3-2 with Edin Dzeko scoring a brace in that one, and a Jose Palomino own goal helped Inter to victory there. And Napoli continued their absolutely crazy start to the season, winning 3-2 against Udinese with Victor Osimhen scoring, which is now 8 goals in his last 8 games.
Yeah, he's okay, isn't he?
Yeah. I would happily take him at Man United. But that is all the European action from this past weekend. Any more talking points before we end off?
Not that I've seen, but I'm hearing Graham Souness is talking shite on Talk Shite.
Anything new there? Let's be honest.
No.
We always talk shite.
But yeah. If I'm going to go on this, then maybe I can go with Jamie Carragher. And his commentary in the Brighton Villa game.
Rule 1, don't ever have commentary on them, especially with Carragher.
But it was just weird. Like, is it because I don't know now if he's now firmly establishing his position as being a Villa hater now because his best mate didn't work out there.
That would make sense, but why? What's he said now?
He was practically willing Brighton to get that penalty, which granted, yeah, you could probably say was, but you don't just keep going on about it, mate. Like, calm down.
He's a bit of a weirdo, let's be honest. But yeah, that is everything for this week. It's going to be weird not talking about the Premier League now for a while.
Okay, here you go. Do you want this? Actually, I've just seen the Graham Souness thing that everyone's getting mad about, and well, it's this is when you know he's just playing it because I can't believe this. Surely the man has said so Jim White has asked him that surely you can no longer defend Ronaldo after this, and Souness replied, "I certainly do. The player has a grievance and he's entitled to air it." Graham Souness is backing a Manchester United player.
The world's gone mad. Fuck off.
It's just weird, isn't it? Like, you can't believe that, surely.
No.
I feel like just ending now. I'm furious.
Yes.
End this now.
We will be back later on this week looking ahead to the World Cup, and we'll have podcasts throughout the World Cup, not every day, but every couple of days, looking at all the action that happens over in Qatar. So make sure you are subscribed to us wherever you get your podcasts from, and that you're following us on Twitter at OffTCPod. We'll have updates and stories throughout the World Cup as when it develops, and that you're following us on and are subscribed to our YouTube channel as well, so where you can also listen to this podcast as well. But until then, it's goodbye from Brad.
That's it.
And goodbye from me. We'll see you soon.